Hey guys, welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today we're going to be taking a look at The Witcher 3. We are playing around with this on the 4070 Super. We're looking at this at 4K. We are playing around with some of the new settings with DLSS 4, trying to get this to work. It took me a second to figure this out. This is what I'm talking about. Like, the whole thing is just kind of convoluted and it kind of just gets to be a little bit of a mess. But we're going to go ahead and play this video, and I'm going to talk you through this so that you guys can kind of see the struggles that I'm kind of going through right now. And if you guys have any suggestions or anything like that, feel free to drop something in the comment section. Some of you guys are, you've been playing around with this since it came out, and I want to get some of your guys' feedback on this, because I don't want to jump to any conclusions anymore. I just want to let the community help. So I'm going to go ahead and play this video right now, and we're going to take a look at this. Okay, guys. So right now we're in the settings thing right now, and we're playing around with this. And so we're looking at the settings right now, basically for The Witcher right now. As you can see, I kind of got everything set up, and we're getting in here. We're looking at display. We're at 4K, all of that. Just trying to get the settings, basically set up for that. We're going to load into the game. So I didn't even realize what was going on, but I had DLAA enforced, so I was only getting like 30 frames a second, even with like frame gen and everything else on. That was kind of weird, man. That I'm not even gonna lie, it took me a minute. But so this is basically DLSS 4 with DLAA pretty much as the as the output. And as you can see, like, the overall image quality, I believe this was at high settings though, guys. All of the other stuff in the bottom is, I believe it's set to high. See, I'm getting out right now and I'm going in there to look, because I'm like, what the freak? Why am I only at like 30 frames a second? I know that this has been better than that. So look, I'm 4K, I got frame generation on, all of this. I'm looking at that and I'm like, what the freak is going on? So I jump in here, I go down, I look at all the settings, and I'm like, okay, performance, that was what I wanted to look at, to see if this was at like 4K or whatever, how it was looking at 4K. And then I noticed right now, I'm like, oh, I got high settings. I don't think I changed these just yet. Maybe I did, but I think I left them. I think I just left them, was like, okay, what the heck's going on? I got frame generation on. And so I get back in to the game, I think. I'm like, all right. So I get back in here and I'm looking around, and this time I was just like, all right, let's look at this for a minute, go around, trying to look at the overall visuals. As you can see, look how good this looks. Like, it looks sharp and it looks clean. It looks like really good 4K, but it doesn't look over sharpened anymore. This actually looks really good. You look at the textures, even though we're at high, it's bringing out more detail than, because we'll get into this a little bit sooner, and you'll see what just regular DLSS looks like at these settings without having any of the DLSS 4. So you can see extra added detail. We get over here, we start looking at the bridge. You can see more of a dirt texture, the wood, the grain in the wood's looking a little bit better. Just overall, the overall density of the image quality looks significantly better. So obviously DLSS 4 is doing a very good job, and obviously being locked in the DLAA for this part of the video, I was like, what the freak is going on, man? Why am I only getting 39 frames a second? So we'll play with the settings a little bit more, but I'm just going to kind of talk you through and just kind of give you my thinking as I was going through this. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, dang, man, this looks very, very nice. I'm liking that. But at the same time, I'm looking at the frame rate and I'm like, gosh, man, this is pretty low. I'm trying to like pan the camera, stuff like that. And you're getting obviously you're getting the judder and stuff like that just due to the lower frame rate. And so we get back in here, we're gonna go back into graphics, and then I'm going to actually just go right on over to Ultra, because I was like, what the freak, why isn't this doing anything? I'll turn the global illumination to performance, then go down here, check, everything's at Ultra. So we'll go ahead and just jump back out of this in just a moment to go ahead and look at this game now. Because now that we're at like Ultra settings and stuff, now you notice that some of the texture work in the ground is kind of missing now. And I didn't notice that before. Like, I just barely noticed that, but you kind of miss some of the texture work. Some of it kind of falls apart because now we're basically running out of VRAM. We're at a point now where where we just don't have the VRAM anymore. So then I turn off so then I get in here to turn off the frame generation, because I'm like, what the freak? Or turn it off and turn it on, or I don't remember what I did. I think I might, yeah. So I turn it off and turn it on, and I go back over here and I check all this again, because I'm like, what the freak? So I turn it all the way to quality, you know, to kind of see what the heck is going on. Still nothing. We're still at lower frames, and now we're even a little bit lower. I was like, what the freak is going on? I'm just glad that we can actually see that. Some of the recordings that I've made didn't have that, but you see how the ground starts to get a little bit more blurry, stuff like that. Obviously, we're just running into VRAM issues now. We just don't have enough. Like we were pushing, I'm gonna put MSI Afterburner on here in just a few minutes to kind of show you. Like my whole train of thought on this was like, what the freak is going on, man? Like it looks incredible with the DLSS transformer mode, but once we get in here, I'll show you. Like once I actually figured out that I was in the DLAA mode, and that was what was severely limiting my frame rate. We're gonna jump out right now. We're gonna go into the app. We're gonna go into graphics. We're gonna go into The Witcher. Obviously right there, we're gonna come down. We're gonna take a look at all this stuff. And then we are DLSS override. So it says, so now we're gonna try to do this, like this one right here, I believe. See, it won't let me do that. So I go back to here, I come down here to latest, and then I'm gonna drop, I think I tried to select preset J. And then I apply this. So you see, notice right here down there, just under there, it's at DLAA 100%. I was like, wait a minute, what the freak is that doing? So I'm thinking, is that just forcing that? So then I force it to do ultra performance. And so, but I don't think that this actually worked for what I wanted it to, because I don't think, because now under the DLSS thing, it's just using the 3D settings for the game. So now I think it's literally just forcing me into, and I'm going to turn on Afterburner now too. So now I feel like it's just forcing. Actually, no, it was working, but I want you guys to see something, because this is where I noticed after I turned it on MSI Afterburner, this is where I noticed that I was actually starting to have like problems. DLSS 4 is actually, you know, like when I'm forcing it into the game, it's actually creating a problem for me. And you'll be able to see that. Like, well, you'll be able to see that once we get in here, and the screen counter and stuff kind of comes up on the screen. You guys will kind of see that we are starting to suffer. We're going to be suffering from frame spikes, like pretty metered. Like every few seconds, we're going to get like some really big drops, and this is going to continue all the way until I turn it just back to like regular. So yeah, these frame time spikes, it'll freeze. It just freezes up, like I'm like panning the camera and stuff. You notice like how much more unstable the overall game is while still utilizing this. But now we're in the ultra performance mode, and I'm looking at this. When I was going through here watching this, I was looking at it on a 1440p monitor, to be completely honest with you. Still on 4K, but we were using DSR to upscale. So it was looking pretty good on the monitor. But as you can see, like we're back in here. I do actually think that we are utilizing DLSS 4. I believe we are, because this, and so is what I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to figure out, I'm like, why the heck do I have the freaking, I'm trying to figure out why I've got so much freaking instability in the frame time. Like, why am I getting these frame time spikes is what I was thinking as I'm playing this, because I'm walking around, I'm trying to look at things. Obviously the overall detail and stuff is still pretty decent. Definitely not as clean as it was. You can obviously see the blur a lot more. I haven't played this back. I'm like actually playing this back at the first time, so it definitely looks a lot more like blurry, not as sharp, not as crisp as it was before. Absolutely nowhere near what it was before. And those frame time spikes, I was like, what the freak is going on? Why are we getting those? And you're looking at like VRAM, we're at like 11,439, but we're allocated 11, but we're using like 944. and it's just feeling, you know, it's not feeling good. Like I'm feeling these frame time spikes and I'm like, what the freak is going on? So then I come down here and I think this is where I'm going to actually set everything to high, either high or ultra. I don't remember what I decided to do, but I think I set everything at high for here to try to see if I could lower that VRAM usage. No, ultra. So I set them to ultra first, and then we'll go back down to high. And so I was like, what the freak? I'm just trying to get the frame time to go back to just being. But you notice how now it even dropped a little bit more. It's a little bit more blurry in the overall experience. I'm like, what the freak, man? So I couldn't figure out how to get rid of the frame time spikes in here. And so I'm wondering, you know, like, am I doing the whole thing right when it comes to like trying to set this all up? So now I'm going to go down to high and we're going to try this again. This didn't help at all either. Spoiler alert. So we set it to high. I mean, this video is like 18 minutes long. Sorry, guys. But I was sitting here and I'm still getting the frame time spikes. You know, it's like, what the freak is going on? Obviously, VRAM is still there, so pretty soon I'm gonna like try to go back to the menu and load back in to see if that'll like reset the VRAM or something like that. But we ended up having to get out of the game. I think we got out of the game a few times because I'm like, what the freak is going on? Like nothing was helping to try to fix this experience whatsoever. Just playing around with in-game settings. So I was like, I even tried turning off frame gen, to be completely honest with you. Just running around, trying to look at this one. This one here is kind of giving, I mean, this is like my favorite game of all time. So it's like, this is one of those ones that I really want to see DLSS for. So now I'm going to turn off frame generation to see if that'll get rid of my frame time spikes. And nope, there they still are. They're still coming up. And I mean, it's fine. I could easily play the game like this with the frame time spikes, but I don't have that experience when I'm not playing around with this new DLSS transformer model. So that's kind of got me feeling like, I don't know if this is going to be a good idea for this game, at least for me anyway. So now I'm going to turn off ray tracing, or at least turn most of it off. And we're going to get back in there with just ray tracing and at performance global ray traced illumination, because I was like, I wonder if it's the ray tracing. But nope, still getting those frame time spikes. It's still hitching and everything else, and it's, you know, kind of feeling like a little bit unstable. You know, as I'm running, you know, we're just getting these freaking frame time spikes, and they're actually pretty. I mean, they're so noticeable that it's like, oh my gosh, see, like I was trying to figure this out with just the settings, so now I'm going to turn ray tracing completely off, and like, yeah, we're still at performance and. Yeah, nothing helped. Not even that. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Because I mean, we're at performance DLSS. We're getting 94 frames. We don't have any frame generation on right now. And I'm like, oh my gosh, man. So I think this is where I jump, or I go back to the main menu, and then you can see the VRAM allotment go down to like 89 and then 67 or whatever. So I was like, all right, let's try this again. Let's just see if it was just a VRAM thing. I think we get back into the game and it goes right back up, to be completely honest with you. Yep, you jumped right back up, and I was like, gosh dang, the freaking frame time spikes still right there. Sorry guys, I'm trying to film this video and get it put out tonight so that I can go to bed. But yeah, like, look at this. It's so annoying that these frame time spikes are happening like that. And so I was just like, all right, we need to get out of the game. We're going to go back into the app. I'm going to get in here. I'm looking at this settings now. I'm like, what the freak is going on? So I think this is the one where I'm like, you know what? I think, so I'm going to go in here and we're going to turn this to just use the 3D application. And then we're going to go to this right here. And I think we're going to, I tried to do latest. Okay, so, and now we're gonna go back in here and try to play it. So I think this here is where I was like thinking, okay, this is DLSS 4 transformer model. And so we're going to get in here and we're going to try this. And I don't think this worked either. I think we were still suffering from the atrocious freaking frame time spikes, for real. Like, this was pretty bad, actually. Like, the way it was feeling while I was in here playing this. Yeah, see, it's still there. It doesn't go away. This actually was kind of a bit worse now that the transformer model's on. But if you look at the overall image quality, it does look more stable. It's nowhere near as blurry as it just was when we were back here. So clearly the transformer model's working, and it's working significantly better, because look how much cleaner this looks. A lot better. I was like, wow, this is impressive, but the gosh dang freaking spikes. And this is where I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, is DLSS 4 breaking this game for me? And so I get back out and I was like, dude, that is just atrocious, man. It's like so bad. So we're going to get in here and we're going to go back to this right here, and we are just going to see, like, it automatically like changes it or something. So we're just going to use the 3D settings default. And then, so default, we're going to make sure that's set. And then we're going to come up here and we're going to optimize the game. And then we're going to get back in and see how it's going to look now. So, I don't know, guys. I don't know if DLSS is just breaking, or DLSS 4 is just breaking this game for me or not, because once we turned all that off and we got back into the game with it optimized and everything, I think it didn't completely go away, but it definitely got better to the point where it was like, okay, now it is not completely ruining my game. Actually, I don't think this is the one yet. No, it was still messed up. Like, what the freak? But I think it was like starting to get a little bit better. I mean, obviously the frame time spikes aren't as close as they were. Yeah, actually after a few minutes, it started clearing up a lot. I mean, they were nowhere near as bad as they were before. I mean, as you can see, it's definitely getting better. But obviously the image quality is a little bit more blurrier now. I think we do play around with this just for a second. And if you noticed, like, all of my indicators and stuff up there on the top, they went off. They're no longer there now. But overall gameplay actually started getting a lot smoother with turning that off. So it's like I'm wondering if that DLSS 4 is kind of having a negative effect on this. We'll definitely be trying this on the 5070 Ti, but I think it really did kind of have an effect on the overall experience for this game, at least. Oh wait, we're not even at 4K, are we? That was different. That changed. That optimizing the game changed that resolution. So we're just using the optimized settings for GeForce. Like I said, we didn't even go in there and check anything. But as you can see, like, look at this, a lot smoother experience now that we're actually not using DLSS 4 on The Witcher 4 or Witcher 3. Witcher 4 will be out hopefully soon, and we'll get to play that. But yeah, that's what I'm talking about with this DLSS 4 thing. I mean, especially on this card, you know, because the whole point of using upscaling is for 4K gaming. Is if that, I mean, that's the whole thing. That's the whole purpose. That's the whole thing that you would use it for, is because it will clean up that 4K image and give you a significantly better overall image quality for that. So it's one of those things where like where when you want to use this feature, is it going to what the freak? It played it again. So it's one of those things where it's like a feature that's gonna it's gonna, like, if it's gonna break the game for you on these lower end cards, like a 12 gig 4070 Super, let me know in the comments section. I want to know if you guys are running into the same kind of problems, if you're trying to use this card on like 12 gig GPUs, or if you're having this on higher gigabyte GPUs, like like your 16 gigs or something like that, or even more stronger GPUs, because this is something that, like, I don't know, man. I'm really wanting to like DLSS 4 and be able to utilize it and to be able to like promote it and stuff like that on the channel. Like, if it is good, I want to be able to give people a good impression on it. If it's user error, I also want to know that too. But yeah, it just seems like no matter what I'm trying to do with this, it is not giving me the results that I think that I should be getting out of it. Obviously, this is something that you want to use on 4K. That's why we're dropping all the way down to performance mode in the first place, so that we can actually use it. If you go back and you look at the gameplay footage that I've given you from games like Cyberpunk, or games that actually already have this implemented into them, like I don't think I've done an Alan Wake 2 one, but I'm going to be doing one. But if you go back and you look at those games, I'm not getting the weird frame time spike and stuff like that I'm getting with some of the games that I added into. So this is just the first game. This is just the first video. So if you like this content, do not forget to like and subscribe. I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. And yeah, hit me up. Let me have your guys' suggestions.